All right, gang, I think I'm live. So we're going to go ahead and start. I got a great episode for you today. Today, we're going to be talking about pending home sales prices are down 21%. Is now the best time to buy a home. So, again, the market has tanked, unlike 2016. And just in 1 month of economic meltdown in the stock market, we're seeing that the real estate market is tanking 21%. Now, the real estate agents claim that the prices are going to hold, but in my opinion, they're going to tank as well. So, real estate prices are going to tank. Now, I have got a lot of different people asking me, is this a good time to get in real estate? So, let me put the disclaimer out here. I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not an attorney, I'm not a CPA. These are just my opinions. I've been a real estate investor since 2006, fourth quarter. I've been an entrepreneur since high school, and I've had multiple businesses that I started with just $100 without borrowing money from a credit card company. So those are the things that I'm bringing to the table. I've also been a professional landlord since 2006, fourth quarter, 2007, 2008, in the last collapse. So now my audience in this channel, my YouTube channel, are two types of people. We have the individuals that are trying to create wealth through passive income in the real estate, and then we also have first-time home buyers that are thinking about buying a home in this economic meltdown. So I'm getting two types of audience asking me this question: Is this Mike? Is this a good time to get into real estate? Is this a good time to buy real estate? Okay, and the answer to that depends, and I'm going to get into that right now. But in my opinion, 2020 collapse is a way better time to own real estate than it was in 2016 or in 2017 or 2018, because at that time the prices were going up and up. In the 2020 collapse, what we're going to see is the prices of real estate come down and down and down. And there's many different cofactors that are going to make the price come down, like massive inventory, shortages of credit, um, mortgage shortages, and so on. But in my opinion, this is the best time to be in real estate because prices are coming down, and then two, the most important ingredient factor: motivation, motivation, motivation. Hey, J Guy. Hey, honey. Just waving to my kid, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So why would I say motivation, motivation, motivation? Well, if you just look at the news, you open any magazine, you look at any TV show, what you're seeing is that tons and tons and tons of sad stories of millions of Americans losing their jobs, bread lines, people are lining up miles and miles in bread lines, and so on. So all these home owners that are now laid off or floating without a job or collecting unemployment or eventually going to start defaulting on their mortgages, which is going to increase the inventory. You're also going to have, you know, what I call accidental landlords, like, Superhost at Airbnb. They're going to start defaulting, which is going to add to that. You're going to have massive amount of people that were on forbearance programs. They're now, it's time to pay. They're not going to have the 4 month to come up with. They're going to start defaulting, and you're going to have your pool of motivated sellers that are death in the family. We're going to a divorce, which both of these things, death in the family because of the bugs, will increase. Divorces will increase as people get laid off, and there's going to be more fights. So all around inventory will increase. So the question now is this a good time to buy real estate? And not financial advice, not trying to tell you what to do, but in my opinion, 2020 is way better time to buy a real estate versus 2016, 2015, 2017, because the market was in such a massive bubble, which means the asset prices were so inflated. Now, do I think that prices are going to come down as time goes by? Absolutely. I believe and I know in my heart that the prices of real estate are going to come down. Now, why am I so confident? Well, in 2016, I was on one of the very few channels that came out and told everyone that we're in a massive, massive real estate bubble. And what I predicted in 2016, we're seeing it right now. Okay, so Go back to my channel, look at some of the stuff that I said. I also told everyone that gold was the play for me in 2016 when it was $1,100 an ounce. Today, if you want to buy gold from a gold store, you're going to be paying close to 1,900 bucks, 1,850, somewhere around there. So this is why I know that the prices are going to come down, because I saw it when no one else saw it, when no one else was talking about the economic collapse. And as time goes by, more and more the ass is going to come down. Okay. Now, if you go back to 2006, when the market crashed at the fourth quarter, 2007, 2008, 2009, when we saw the full impact of it. Okay, in 2009, even though it really crashed in 2006 fourth quarter, we really saw the big impact in 2009. So as time will go by, more and more people will start defaulting, which will increase the inventory, which will slash the prices of real estate, especially with the credit crunch that's already happening and more to come, because as more and more people start defaulting on their obligations to the banks are going to be going belly up, so they're going to be enforcing higher requirements for borrowing money, which makes sense because everyone's defaulting. You have millions of people that don't have jobs. You have millions of people that are going to default on their credit cards, on their car payments, on their house payments. So the banks are going to be getting it everywhere. I don't feel sorry for the banks, but the side effect of that is that the banks are going to make it harder for people to buy homes. Okay, they're going to make it harder for people to buy cars because majority of people don't have the cash. We live on the installment drain, the installment plan drain, pipeline, whatever you want to call it, and none of us are willing to sacrifice to build enough capital to buy something cash. We want to just go ahead and get the harvest today without working for it, and then pay down the line 20-30 years down the line. Unfortunately, when the market tanks, there's going to be great opportunities, but the flip side of it is many people are not going to have the credit or the cash to buy these opportunities. Unlike when the market is going up. When the market is going up, the assets are in massive bubbles, okay, because of ultra low interest rate, because of printing money, okay, relaxed lending, which causes assets like cars, like homes, to stock markets to just go up artificially. And now the air is out of this, right? But on the flip side, the banks are now lending. So the best time to buy real estate is in a depression that we're seeing right now. But unfortunately, people are not going to have cash or be credit worthy enough, even if they may have good credit, because lenders are going bankrupt or losing significant amount of money because of all the different types of defaults happening, from credit cards to auto to commercial to residential mortgages and so on. So they're going to tighten their lending requirements, going to make harder for money to circulate, which means that the average person, the average investor, the average home buyer cannot get a loan now, even though the prices are coming down. Now, I do have strategies that I'll share with you a little bit later on, how to buy homes, even if it's your first-time home buyer, or if you are trying to accumulate wealth through passive income like real estate, how to come up with the funds, what's what I call OPM, other people's mortgages, and I'll get into that in a little bit, which is the solution to this, because when prices fall down significantly, there's no money, there's no lenders to lend to buy these properties. Even though they're smoking deals, there's not going to be money out there. So to quickly answer the question, it depends. And the question is 2020 the best time to buy real estate? It all depends. If someone has no money, like you're like dead broke, I'm not talking about you, but just in general, if someone doesn't have any money, they're dead broke, they can't pay their rent, then they have no business owning a house. I mean, just simple as that. I mean, okay. Now, if you have some money, okay, but you don't have all the money to buy a house, that might be a different story. You got 10 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, whatever the story may be, okay. Now, if someone wants to become, build wealth by buying rental properties, you got to have some kind of money. You may not have the $200K to buy the house, but you got to have some kind of money to make that, say, payment service, okay? And if you're trying to buy your first time home, right, and you're renting, let's say, $700 one bedroom, and you want to buy a home and the payments are $1,500, then it's probably not a great idea because you're probably not going to be able to afford it. Does that make sense? But let's say if you're renting a 3-bedroom apartment and your rent is $2,500, and there's a house you can buy and your payments become $1,500, then that may make sense because now you're putting $1,000 into your savings versus giving to that landlord. Okay, now, so it all depends on the individual. If you're a first-time home buyer, you gotta look at your money you're coming in, how much money you have, and what about your job security? Do you have a job? Is it going to be there? And if you're thinking about buying as an investment, hey, how much reserve cash do you have? Okay, if you have a business, more than likely you probably have a business or you have a high-paying job. You know, how secure are you in that? But that said, I think that 2020 and going forward is the best time to get in real estate because there's massive amount of blood in the street. There's massive amount of fear in the air. They're slaughtering people's equities from the stock market to real estate, and there's going to be tons of motivated sellers out there. And there's two ways to buy in an economic collapse that we're having. There's two ways to buy in a recession. There's two ways to buy in a Great Depression that we're having. Okay, some people say it's a recession. Some people are going to tell you it's the Great Depression. I'm telling you it's the greatest depression that we've ever seen that's coming because of all the craziness that's happening. But there's two ways to buy. The very first way to buy is to be liquid. That's why Warren Buffett, sold a lot of stocks at the top of the market and has liquid cash ready to go. That's why I've been living below my means so I can have liquid cash ready to go. Okay, so the very first thing is to have liquid cash to buy properties. But many people in America are not in a situation to have 10 grand or 20 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand, a million, whatever the story is, in their banking accounts, especially with their 401s evaporating, especially with their home equities evaporating, especially with their line of credits getting evaporated because banks are taking big losses. Because a lot of investors, believe it or not, a lot of entrepreneurs, I call them debtpreneurs, they are just credit based. They don't have the ability to imagine something created through imagination, creativity, through sacrifice. They stick their hand out and borrow to have success, and that's what I call debtpreneurs, and that's why we're having the greatest problem ever, because there's so many debtpreneurs, there's so many debt consumers, there's so many states that are in debt, there's so many corporations that are in debt, there's so many big brothers that are in debt, and so on and so on, that our debt now is overcoming our production, which is going to be a dollar collapse, why I love hard assets like gold, like Bitcoin, like real estate, because it doesn't matter what the currency is, hard assets are always going to be in demand. Now, there's two ways to buy properties in an economic collapse. The very first way is to have piles of cash, because cash is trash, but you can use cash right now to buy hard assets because cash is trash, like that guy says on Ray Dalio, great guy, right? And I agree with him. I've been saying the same thing since 2016. Okay, now many people are not in a situation like that, which I totally understand. But if you have cash, then you probably already know this is the best time to buy real estate, because that's why you have the cash, because you're a smart individual and you've been prudent. Instead of getting into debt when they're having easy cheese, easy money, but just giving it out to everyone, you probably stayed lean and mean because you knew the opportunity was on the horizon. And this is what I call the subject to heaven, because OPM, other people's mortgages. So first way is cash. A lot of people don't have access to cash anymore, or credit, or line of credits, or whatever. Okay, so they don't have cash. Very small amount of people are going to be able to get these awesome deals. The other option is that you got to have a little bit of money. You're not going to need as much money as the guys that are cash buyers. You're just going to need a little bit of money. How much is that little money? I have no idea. It depends on your situation. If you're looking to just buy yourself a one home, right, and make that your homestead, to make that your home, then the amount of cash you're going to need is going to be significantly less than someone that wants to buy 10 doors and they're going to be, a long-term landlord, right? So it all depends. But if you have a little cash, then you can still maximize on this great wealth changing opportunity if you have the right skills, if you have the right education, okay? And what is the right education, okay? What I call OPM, okay? What I call subject to heaven. And I've been saying the same thing since 2006, guys, that subject to heaven is coming. Please go back to my YouTube channel, check it out, okay? I can't make this stuff up. It's on YouTube. They documented it for us, okay? So subject to heaven, or OPM, is other people's mortgages. Now, again, there's two ways to create yourself wealth or buy real estate for your own home in a collapse, which is have all cash, or many people may not or may have. The other option is to use OPM, other people's mortgages. Now, since Big Brother, HUD, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, banks have loosened the lending practices, a lot of people qualify for mortgages at all-time low interest rate. Again, this interest rate that people got 15-year mortgages, 30-year mortgages, we've never seen in the history of America, okay? I'm telling you, the history of America. So there's so many people that were able to get loans that shouldn't have got loans, and guess what? A lot of these people now don't have jobs, or about to get fired from their jobs, or about to get less pay, whatever the story is. These people are going to be highly, highly motivated. There's a lot of people that can't pay their mortgages, or they can't pay their rent, and their landlords cannot pay their mortgages, and they're going to be highly motivated, okay? And so, because there's so many retail buyers, if you want to buy a home, you're looking for a retail buyer, okay, in this strategy, what I call OPM, they're highly motivated, and they need to sell. Not because they need to, they must sell. They have no choice because they can't make the monthly payments anymore for one reason or another, okay? And with these individuals, what I will do is OPM, or subject to investing, where I just simply put, it's a little complex, but simply put, I just step into the seller's shoes and just take over their mortgages. Kind of like a mortgage assignment, but it's not an assignment, okay? But I'm taking over their mortgages, and the reason it's not an assignment is because I don't go qualify for their loan. They've already qualified for it. So I'm not assigning it like a car note or something like that, or a lease where I have, like a car lease where I have to assume their lease. No, it's kind of like a mortgage assignment, but it's not, because I'm not taking on their liability in a sense of with the bank. I'm only taking the liability from the seller by giving him debt relief, by making his payments only. But I'm not taking the liability of me qualifying and me putting my social security or me putting my company EIN number to get the loan. So that's the most important part, because in the OPM, other people's mortgages, I don't have to get a new mortgage. I don't have to go to a bank and get qualified. The seller, motivated seller, already has a mortgage, they already qualify for it, and it's at an all-time low interest rate that we've never seen in America before, and they can't sell for whatever reason, and they try by hiring real estate agents, and they can't sell. Maybe the house has no equity, maybe the house has marginal equity, maybe the house has a lot of equity, but whatever the story is, they can't sell because there's home builders who are trying to sell, there's foreclosures, REOs, there's all kinds of people trying to sell at one time, right? And it's not happening. There's a credit crunch, it's not happening, and then they don't have any options. Now, their only other option that they're heading towards down this river, this dangerous river, is foreclosure and bankruptcy, right? So they have an option now of getting one black eye or two black eyes. If they go to foreclosure, one black eye, 7 to 10 years on their credit report and so on, or they could do bankruptcy and get two black eyes. And that's their option. Besides the option that I provide them, which is, again, OPM, other people's mortgages, where I tell the seller, look, you're going down to foreclosure, you can't afford this home, I could jump into your shoes and make your monthly payments for you, and every time I do the monthly payments for you, it boosts your credit, and when I cash out your loan, it's also going to boost your credit versus your other options. Now, I tell the seller straight up, this is not your best option, this is your best worst option, because your best option is to hire a real estate agent and sell it to a retail buyer that this is their dream home. But unfortunately, you try that, or it's not happening, and now you're heading down to the river of the cliff where you're going to have one black eye or two black eyes. But I have a solution for you, what I call your best worst option. It's not your best option, but it's not your worst option. And the great news is that every time I make your payments, your credit goes up. And when I cash out the loan, it's going to boost your credit. and it doesn't hurt your credit, and you don't get a foreclosure, and you don't get a file for a bankruptcy and spend $5,000, $7,000 for that. And some sellers will say no, and some sellers will say yes. Okay, and in an economic collapse like this, when a seller will open the news, watch the TV, read the magazine, 90% of the information is negative, they've already convinced themselves that, hey, I'm just going to walk away from this deal, or I have to take a big hit on this if I have a lot of equity because this is the situation. And so instead of me trying to sell them, I don't have to sell them anything. The TV programming has already programmed them to be motivated where they're looking for these solutions. And some people will call me and say, hey, can you just take over my payments? Right? Can you just take over my payments? I know I don't have that much equity. Can you just take over my payments? Now, as a first-time home buyer back in 2006, fourth quarter, this is why I got into the real estate business, is to buy my own very first home. But the banks were not lending, thank God, and I learned about OPM, other people's mortgages. As a first-time home buyer, I didn't, care about, does this property, have negative equity. I didn't care because I know the market was going to come down every month. The property values will come down even more and more every year for a couple of years. It's going to come down. What I cared about is, hey, can I get a house? Can I get a house without going to a bank? Can I get a house without a mortgage under my name? Okay. And so when I found this seller named Carlos, I was super stoked because he was willing to just let me take over his payment. He had a beautiful home that was just recently built, like 2 or 3 years old. Okay. Maybe a little bit older, I can't remember exactly, but it was a very new home. He had updated, he had put pools, he had done the floor tiles, and it was like no work needed. And so when he allowed me to just take over his payments and make the 2 or 3 month payments that he was behind, I was pretty stoked about it because when I looked at how much I had to put down, right, was way less than if I went and rented a house. Because when you go rent a house, it depends on what state you're in, they usually require your first month and the security deposit, which is equal to that. And if I added that up, it was more money than I had to come up with to buy this guy's house. And it was way less money that I had to come up with if I went traditionally with a real estate agent, getting a mortgage broker and paying all that loan generation, doing all that fancy closing at escrow. Because OPM, I was able to control all the costs. And when I totaled up the money that I had to pay for closing to buy my very first home using OPM, subject to investing, creative real estate investing, I had to put less money down than if I had rented, and I had to put way less money down if I went the traditional way. And for me, it was an awesome opportunity because it was so much less money for me to just take over this guy's payment. And I got the deed, I got the title. The day I bought it, I was the owner of the property. I could have refinanced, I could have done whatever I wanted to it. And what I did is I stayed in the home for a couple of years, and then I moved out of the home and I turned it into a rental property, okay? Which then at that time was giving me positive cash flow, 400 or 500, and continued going up as I hold the property, and I hold it for like 7 or 8 years. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then I sold it and made a lot of cash out of it because the renters were paying the debt. And then number two, appreciation was happening because I bought the property in a non-war zone, so it wasn't a war zone. It was a beautiful area. Okay, there was malls around the area that started building up, and it was a really appreciating area. It was a working class area. Lockheed Martin was just down the street from me, so there was a lot of good jobs there, and and it was a good asset for me, even though I just picked it up for just a couple of grand. That's all it took me, a couple of grand. That included the closing costs, making the guys rear payments, and then that's it. I move in. It was very, very simple. Now, as a first-time home buyer, I didn't care about if it has positive cash flow, if it had a lot of equity, because when I bought the house, it had like marginal equity, nothing much, like 10-15%, which is nothing, right? Nothing, really is nothing, okay? By the time you pay your closing costs. But as time went by, after 7 to 8 years time went by, renters paid off that debt, the market came up, appreciation started happening, so I started getting double the whammy, renters paying off principal, and appreciation happening, so my equity just keep going up, and it was a great deal for me when I exited the property, and it also was a great deal after I turned into a rental property because I was getting the cash flow. Now, if you're looking to create wealth, right, as an investor, again, 2020, in my opinion, is one of the best times to be a real estate investor because you can use OPM, other people's mortgages, because there are going to be so many types of sellers that are going to be highly motivated, and they're not going to be able to make payments, or their businesses are down, and they don't have enough money coming in. They have too much toys, gadgets, whatever it is, and maybe they want to get rid of their Airbnb super location. Maybe they want to get rid of their vacation homes. So there's going to be all types of homes out there. There's going to be, for example, in the last crash, 2006, I've done deals with penthouses where the guys had multi-million-dollar homes, and I've done deals where the deal was like $150,000 home. So there's everything in between. I've talked to attorneys, I've talked to doctors, I've talked to all kinds of entrepreneurs, people that are teachers, people that work for the city. All types of people got in trouble because they listened to the real estate agent, they listened to the bankers, what the house was appraised for, they thought that really the house was that, and it's never come down, and they bought into the hype of the up market, not realizing that there's going to be a big bubble and it's going to crash. Okay, so if you're an investor and you're looking for passive income through rentals, in my opinion, not financial advice, I think this is the best time to be a real estate investor, because you could use OPM, other people's mortgages, because there are so many motivated sellers. There's nothing in my book better than buying a home where I don't have to use all my cash, where I don't have to put a large down payment down, where I don't have to go beg a bank, can I please get my rental, please? I don't have to beg a bank. I don't have to use my credit, my company EIN number. I get a non-recourse loan. If you don't know what that is, get on my YouTube channel, click on the search and type in my non-recourse loan and check out my video. I've done a couple of videos about that, okay, and the benefits of it. I'm not gonna have time to get into it. Then I love that, because I have to come up with this much money. I get to control a multi-$100,000 property with just this much money. Right off the bat, I have positive cash flow. I will not buy the property if I don't have positive cash flow, because in real estate, ladies and gentlemen, it's the same as the car dealership business. You make your money when you buy a car. You make your money when you buy the real estate. If you buy it wrong, if you buy the car at the wrong price, then you're going to lose money. But if the car is worth 100 and you buy it for 40, then it doesn't matter if the market tanks 20%, 30%, you still have equity in the property. Now, real estate is not like a car, because it has two benefits. One, it has equity, right? You can buy equity, which is cool and great, but I don't just do a deal because it has equity, because equity is what's called phantom. At any time it can sink, right? But when I buy a property, again, what makes real estate cool is you can buy equity, or you can buy cash flow. Okay, it's great. The best option is to buy both. You buy equity and cash flow. But sometimes in a collapse like this, it's too hard to find people that have equity. So this strategy, OPM, works really good, because even if they have negative equity, even if they have marginal equity, if they have zero in equity, or if they have a lot of equity, taking other people's mortgages is a fantastic way to, make a lot of money, make a lot of profits without having all the money, without using your credit. And that's why I'm so stoked about it. And that's why I told everyone back in 2016 that this thing will be happening. And that's why I set out. It was foolish for me to get into the business when everyone's becoming a real estate agent, when everyone's becoming a wholesaler, when everyone's trying to do fix and flip, when everyone's trying to get this cheap money where they can get it from the banks, and everyone did it. And that's why these Airbnb super hosts are in trouble, because it was easy money, right? So these people didn't think about that. If I buy 10 properties, I'm gonna have to be responsible for $30,000 a month, and I have a job that only gives me 60 grand a month. Right? They're not thinking that, right? Where that's why I said, if you get into passive income, you get into real estate, you got to have reserves, or you have to have a business that's bringing in money, because real estate is like a baby, right? You got to breastfeed it and stuff, man. I mean, no joke, dude. And I got a six month, and you got to maintain that. You got to breastfeed it, you got to nurture it, because there's bad tenants. Things will break, like ACs, water heaters, plumbing. I mean, things will happen, and you got to have money for it. If you're dead broke, you have no business getting a real estate investment. You have no business borrowing money. I mean, these are common sense, and some people just don't have common sense. But if you're a real estate investor, in my opinion, 2020 is one of the best times to buy real estate, and going further, 2021, 2022, because more and more people are going to be motivated. and more people are going to be desperate, and house prices are going to be coming down and down and down, and credit crunch is going to be happening where the banks are now lending, and so it leaves only one type of investors, cash investors, unless you know how to do OPM. Now the great news is if you're interested in buying houses OPM for your own personal homestead, or if you're interested in buying it for positive cash flow, then I do have a bunch of self-help courses that teaches you how to do this stuff for pennies on the dollar, unlike college, right? And you can apply today to make money at MrNoFluff.com. If you need someone to work with you one-on-one, then I do have a program called Profit Sharing. I'll work with you for 1 whole month, guys, 1 whole month, and I'll help you do one deal. And the price of that is $3K. And on top of that, I will be giving you a bunch of business tools you need to succeed in this business, from your paperwork, from where to find the sellers, marketing materials, to your own website, to your own follow-up systems, everything you need. When I add it all up, it comes to $9,500 of free gift that I give you when you join my profit sharing for $3K. Now, some of you guys are saying, hey Mike, I don't want to invest $3K, I don't know if it's going to be good. Well, I am thinking about maybe tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to put it on my website, where I'm going to sell 1 month of pre-recorded profit sharing for $197. So if you're interested, if you got the $3K, or you may not have $3K and you're thinking, man, what goes down in the profit sharing? Then what I can do is give you 1 month of pre-recorded profit sharing that I charge $3,000 for $197 at MrNoFluff.com. You can download it and you can evaluate it. If you think, hey, if you have the money, you want to just test it out, we'll download 1 month. Of course, you're not going to be able to talk to me because it's a pre-recorded thing, right? But the best news is you get to sit in this mastermind. You get to sit in here and listen to my trade secrets. You can sit in here, listen to live deals my students are doing that we're working with. You get to learn about the whole business. You get to see all the other questions my students are asking, and you get to be listened to that live. That's worth so much money, right? And I'm just going to let you have it for $197, which includes 4 meetings, which is a month worth of meetings, for $197 pre-recorded. Okay. Now, if you want to work with me direct, you want to come join us, then it's $3,000 for 1 month. Okay. After that 1 month, if you decide to stay, then great news is it's only $119 a month after that, guys. If you don't want to stay, you can leave whenever you want. Okay. So $3K if you want to work direct with me. After that, it's $119 a month if you want to stay. If you don't have the $3K, or if you're not sure that $3K is a good risk, then download 1 month of the pre-recorded version that I'm going to put up tonight or tomorrow. Okay, so this is I guess a pre-announcement because it's not live yet at MrNoFluff.com. You can download 1 month of profit sharing. You're not going to be able to talk to me or anything like that, but you get to listen to me and my students and all the deals they're doing, and all the questions they're doing, and the training that I give them, okay, for just $197 at MrNoFluff.com or MyRealEstateDojo.com. Same exact thing, guys, MyRealEstateDojo.com. Okay, so again, if you're interested in learning how to buy houses OPM, if you're interested in creating yourself positive cash flow, if you're interested in creating yourself wealth, if you want to get into the rental business, if you want to buy houses owner financing, if you want to buy houses, sorry guys, someone called in. Okay, if you want to buy houses subject to, if you want to buy houses owner financing, if you want to buy houses through creative real estate investing options, lease options, then definitely join my profit sharing 3K 1 month. I work with you direct, or you can download 1 month of pre-recorded for just $197 at MrNoFluff.com. I'll have it on to tonight or tomorrow, so it's not on there right now if you want to go out there. Okay, so to finally wrap up what the question was, is 2020 the best time to buy real estate? Yes, in my opinion, absolutely. It's a way better time to buy your own personal home now versus 2016 when the market was just shooting up. Okay, why? Because prices are going to be coming down and down. Now, would I run out there right now and buy a property? Probably not, unless I find a motivated seller. Like if I have a motivated seller right now, they're willing to give me their deed, they have a beautiful home, it's an appreciating area, the property cash flows, right? And I show you how to do all this stuff in my profit sharing to make sure you hedge your risk, right? There's a property cash flow, this and this, then yeah, I'll do it right now. But I know as I wait 6 months, as I wait a year, more and more deals, I'm going to be able to cherry pick the best deals, okay? But it doesn't mean that deals are not here right now, right? But I'm not like in any rush to just go and just do deals, because I know as time goes by, more and more inventory builds up, more and more sellers basically submit to the reality that their home's not worth anything anymore, right? More and more sellers will submit that we're not going to have this V-shaped recovery, right? More homeowners are going to submit to, shit, man, I really lost my job, right? Oh shit, I lost all my equities in the stock market. Oh shit, my home has appreciated. Oh shit, my home has no value in it. But because they don't have education, because just because their equity may disappear doesn't mean that the house is not worth anything. If they just had the skills, if they just knew about MrNoFluff.com, they could turn these properties into rental properties, right? But they don't have the skills, nor are they willing to get the skills. Then in that situation, that's where opportunity for me comes in, because I do have the skills, and in a situation where they see negativity, I see opportunity, right? And that's what I try to teach my students is what you see is what you get. Some people in the 2020, they just see negativity. Oh shit, losses are gone, jobs are down, oh my God. Guys like me see opportunity, like hell yeah, dude, hell yeah. And I'm super excited, I can't deny it as the song goes. And so that's where I am. And if you're interested in working with me, finding these deals, Mr. No Fluff, I got self-help courses to help you all kinds of stuff, right? Trust me, you gotta invest in your brain, because imagine how much you spend in college. What did you get for it besides a piece of paper, right? This stuff you can take and apply today. For example, the new flip. So many people have been reaching out to me. They bought the book. They applied it. They started making $500, $400 quick, just like this, dude. See, my stuff is for the streets. I don't teach you philosophical stuff. I teach you how to do a deal ASAP, because my whole livelihood, the whole reason I'm doing what I'm doing, depends on you succeeding. That's it. That's it. And this is no fluff. Okay. If you don't succeed, I don't succeed, and that's the way I roll. Okay. So that's why we don't have salespeople. Okay. A lot of you guys and gals have submitted your information for profit sharing, right? I'm sorry, no one's gonna call you, no one's gonna sell you, and you're expecting someone to call you and sell you. No one's gonna do that, okay? If you can't sign up by yourself, there's a reason why I do it this way. If you can't sign up by yourself, then you have no business being an entrepreneur. You have no business being a real estate investor, because in real estate and entrepreneurship, you gotta be able to make decisions by yourself, okay? Let me say that, you gotta make decisions by yourself very, very quickly. If you need external stimulus to help you make that decision, then you don't have a business being a real estate investor, because when an opportunity comes in front of your door, when the seller's willing to let you just take over their payments, when the seller's willing to sell you their home at 60 cents on a dollar, well, guess what? There's other people that are going to come pick it up if you can't make a decision real fast. You're not the only fish swimming for that food. There's other fishes. And that's why I only want to work with people that can make decisions by themselves. They don't need a salesperson. They don't need an external stimulus to make a decision for them. If you're that type of person, trust me, stick with the JOB, because entrepreneurship is not like that at all. When you see a deal, you got to be able to go for it, because if you don't, a guy like me will see it and go for it. I make a decision. I don't need to talk to my CP. I don't need to talk to my wife. I don't have to talk to my cousin, my friend. No, I don't need any of these people. I make a decision by myself. Sure, I made bad decisions, and I've also made great decisions. The bad decisions help me learn to make better decisions. The great decisions boost my confidence, boost my wallet, and boosts, all the great things to make me be my dreams more. So both decisions help me move forward. Lack of decision making, right, is the doom of entrepreneurship. Lack of decision making. And a lot of people are so involved in their brain, they're just thinking in all aspects. Should I join profit sharing? Thinking. Should I buy this house? Thinking. Should I take over this guy's payment? Thinking. Is this a good deal? Just thinking. And the thinking is like this. They think, and they think, what if this happens? They start thinking here, what if this happens? They start thinking here, and before you know it, they're just in a circle of thinking, and they never move forward. That's why I have this motto: start where you stand, right? Start where you stand. Stop thinking and start, because either direction, you make a mistake, it's still a win for you, because you learn. If you go right, it boosts your confidence, it boosts your wallet for you to be your dreams even more. But thinking will never allow you to do any action, and that's why our whole system is rigged. The schools helped you become such a thinker, right, instead of action taker. That's why the guys that have F's in school and C in school go out and become entrepreneurs, and the people that are in honor roll start working for them. And that's because those guys with too much thinking and not enough action. And action is the key. Start where you stand, guys. Thanks for watching. Click the like button. Go to Mr. No Fluff if you're interested in downloading the profit sharing pre-recorded. I'll be there tonight or tomorrow. for $197. I'll only have 50, guys. Once that 50 is out, it'll be out. If you're interested in joining the Profit Sharing 101, 3K, I'll work with you direct. Doesn't matter what state you're in from. I have students all over. And guess what? Don't take no for an answer, man. Don't take no for an answer. You're more powerful than you've been told. You can do anything with imagination, creativity. All you gotta do is just close your eyes, listen to your heart, and pursue it, man. You only live once. Pursue it, right? There are risks out there. But there are also risks of lack of decision making. There's also risk of working for the man. There's also risk of just being a follower. So, life is risky. Peace. Click the like button, guys. Click the like button.